Now, with the fuselage back. Okay, check that tail we glued, see? Now, my elevator goes up and down, my rudder moves good. Remember, we never glued those in. Okay, so now I have my rudder is going to be on this side here. So I know from building these that I want the rudder to go across to the other side of the airplane. So the servo I'm going to use for the rudder, I'm going to put in here first. And then the servo I'm going to use for my elevator, I'll put in next. These go side by side. Now, I found that I just tack these with a little bit of epoxy, or even their glue. But I want them to set up a little quicker today, so I'm going to use epoxy to glue them in, but not yet. Never glue your servos in until you get all your control stuff done. Now, we're going to take 2 of these clear plastic servo horns, or control horns, and I'm going to put the wire in the smallest or the closest hole to the inside. Now that's because I like flying 3D. If you're a beginner, I recommend you going more towards the outside. You can always adjust these later and move them inside. Okay? So I got these 2 in the holes closest to the bottom for me. Going to give me the most throw. Now we want to hook these on because we're going to slide these in those tubes that we installed very first video. Okay, I dropped the other one here. We'll put the other one in. Side here. The wires. Wires are really lots of extra. Now, again, I haven't centered the radio equipment. But the servos are in there with the servo horns across like that. So I know that when I do center them, it'll probably be good. So now, let's do the elevator first. I'm gonna, if you look here, look at how much of a gap there is. I'll try and bend it a bit. Okay, so I'm going to put, that isn't going to stay there very good. So we're going to have to glue the elevator servo horn. That makes making that hard. Well, we'll wait. I don't like how that bend fits. So I think I'm going to bend the control horn there. We're going to look at the rudder here instead then. Okay? So, we have the servo horn in there. You see? And again, this one needs a little bend here. Just a little bit, right near the end. Do with my hand. Is this enough? Just a little more. Now we use the pliers. Now these ones, if they want, we can put that adjustment in here, but we won't. I'm going to run these controls straight. Now you see I bent that. That's going to fit tight there. Okay, so now, with the rudder set straight like that, right? We have to hold that there, making sure our rudder is staying straight. We'll come forward. Remember, we went on that side to the opposite side here. So we're going to have to clamp onto that wire where we think it needs to be bent. Now this is really important because you got to be accurate. If you don't, well, what you can do here, make it easier. Let's use a Sharpie and we'll mark the wire of the center of the servo. The wire is silver. Black Sharpie will show up. I'm holding the servo horn in the tail. And I'm holding the tail dead straight so that when we hook it up, it'll be straight. Now because I didn't glue the servo horn in, I can't pull it out and make the Z-bend because I can never put it back through the rod again. So I have to very carefully pull it out in the center here and make the Z-bend. So now I didn't glue the elevator in so that I could pull this forward all this way. Now, remember, check because you got to make sure that your bends are right too, the right way. You see, I'm still checking here to make sure that this is up like that. I'm going to pull it back, but I know that I have to bend this down now. So I have to find that black mark right here. I'm going to bend it up and over. Okay, now let's hope that's goes there. We come here. If we see my Z-bend, it'll fit right about down there. That'll be just about perfect. Okay, should be just about good. We got that wire made. Now, you can see in there, the servo horn installed with the wire is square. And now if I squeeze the servo horn back into the rudder, we can see that the rudder should be dead straight. So that's good. Now that all the wire, I've test fit everything, I'm going to glue the servo horn in for the rudder. Then when that dries, I'll come back and we'll work on the elevator servo and the wires. Now, since this is some of the important work, this is one thing I'm going to do all by itself. I have to hold it until the epoxy sets. So, epoxy's mixed. Nice fighting it right off the bat. I'm going to let it set for a minute or two. Then I'm going to put my parts together. For the time being, just going to put it in this spot where it has to go. Oh, let this piece out of the way. Epoxy. Now, gotta hold the servo horn in there nice and flat. Now I have to hold this till epoxy sets. Okay, 5 minutes later, epoxy setting on that. So now if I move the servo, my rudder moves. We have the linkage installed for the rudder. The linkage for the elevator next. That'll be tomorrow night. I'm getting tired tonight. That's it. I'll be back tomorrow. It's more of the Formosa build. Have a good night.